Towering over the ancient world like a beacon of ingenuity, it was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. This is the story of the Lighthouse of Alexandria, a marvel of engineering that stood for over 1,000 years. Guiding sailors safely into the bustling port of one of antiquity's greatest cities, like ancient wonders. Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and don't forget to ring the bell, because we've got more ancient mysteries to uncover. Built on the tiny island of Pharos, just off the coast of Alexandria, Egypt, the lighthouse was more than a beacon. It was a symbol of power, progress, and prestige. The city of Alexandria was founded in 332 BC by none other than Alexander the Great. Alexandria was destined to be a hub of Greek culture, science, and trade. A massive bridge called the Heptastadion, stretching more than 1,200 meters, linked Pharos to the mainland. A feat of ancient engineering that turned an island into an extension of the city. Today, all that remains of Pharos is the raw Sultan promontory. Its eastern tip, once home to the mighty lighthouse, has been claimed by the sea over centuries. After Alexander the Great died, his vast empire was carved up by his generals. One of them, Ptolemy I Soter, took Egypt hand. He had big plans. In 35 BC, Ptolemy declared himself king and began transforming Alexandria into the crown jewel of the Mediterranean.
One of his first acts was to commissioning a lighthouse, unlike anything the world had ever seen.
Construction began around 297 BC, and for 12 long years, thousands of workers toiled under the blazing Egyptian sun. By around 280 BC, during the reign of his son and successor, Ptolemy II Philadelphus, the towering beacon was finally completed. Over 100 meters tall, with polished white limestone and a blazing fire at its summit, stood the Lighthouse of Alexandria. While history credits Ptolemy I Soter, the powerful king of Egypt, with commissioning the lighthouse, he may not be the true genius behind it. The real architect was a brilliant Greek engineer named Sostratus of Cnidus, a man whose name was nearly erased from history. At the time, rulers craved eternal glory. So while Sostratus designed and built the lighthouse, Ptolemy likely took public credit for political power for legacy. But Sostratus had different plans, beneath a layer of plaster that bore Ptolemy's name. He inscribed a secret message, Sostratus of Cnidus, son of Dexiphanes, to the savior gods, for sailors. As centuries passed and the plaster wore away, Sostratus's name emerged from the shadows, at last visible for all to see. Rising over 350 feet into the sky, it was the tallest man-made structure on Earth, second only to the Great Pyramid of Giza. At its apex, the Lighthouse of Alexandria had a mirror of polished bronze. Catching the sunlight by day, and at night, a great fire roared its glow reaching far out to sea. Sailors could see the light for miles, guiding them to the safety of Alexandria's harbor. A broad spiral ramp wound its way through the tower's interior, allowing men, animals, and fuel to reach the very top. There, a furnace burned constantly, keeping the flame alive. The lighthouse was constructed from light-colored limestone and granite stacked in massive solid blocks, hauled into place with precision. Its design was bold and functional, with 3 tapering tiers, each sloping inward with elegant geometry, a square base with a central core, an octagonal middle, and at the top a circular tower, crowned with a statue of a Greek god. Counts vary on which Greek god took the position, but many agree it was between Poseidon or Zeus. On the seaward face, an inscription praised Zeus, the king of gods. And according to Roman coins from Alexandria, the tower was adorned with 4 statues of Triton, god of the sea, standing on each corner. The harbor of Alexandria was full of danger-hidden shoals, jagged reefs, and heavy traffic from across the Mediterranean. This lighthouse helped seafarers avoid disaster and reach the heart of a city that stood for power, prosperity, and knowledge. But how did the Lighthouse of Alexandria become a great navigational beacon? By night, a massive fire was kept burning, its glow amplified by polished stone or metal, creating a beam of light visible for miles. Ancient estimates say the light was visible up to 50 kilometers, an astonishing range for its time. One of the most expensive construction projects of the ancient world, cost a staggering 800 talents of silver, a fortune few could even imagine. That's the equivalent of thousands of workers' lifetimes in wages, but the Ptolemies could afford it. The Ptolemaic dynasty, flush with riches from Egypt's massive grain surplus and booming Mediterranean trade, funneled their wealth into symbols of power. And the lighthouse? It was their crown jewel. But while the silver paid for the stone, it was human hands that built it, and the human cost. Unmeasurable. Thousands toiled under Egypt's relentless heat, hauling massive blocks of limestone and granite without machines, climbing to dangerous heights with nothing but ropes, scaffolding, and willpower. Every tier of that mighty tower came at a price. Injuries were common, lives were lost, but no records were kept, no names remembered. The Lighthouse of Alexandria wasn't just a structure. It was a symbol, a monument, a prayer in stone and fire. Built to guide ships safely into Alexandria's harbor, Pharos became more than a navigational aid. It was a beacon of hope, a light of security, order, and human genius. Pharos stood in a city dedicated to knowledge and wisdom, a city that also housed the great library of Alexandria. Together, they represented humanity's pursuit of truth, both by sea and by thought. The lighthouse was likely dedicated to the savior gods, a phrase that may have honored the Ptolemaic rulers, or deities like Isis and Serapis, protectors of mariners and guardians of the deep. For centuries, that light meant life to those lost at sea. It was the divine hand guiding them home, a flame of faith burning through the unknown. Pharos was the marriage of heaven and earth, of divine protection and human mastery. In its glow, the sea became a path, not a peril. For over 1,500 years, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, titan of the ancient world, was struck again and again by nature's fury. 3 major earthquakes contribute to its destruction. In 956 CE, the upper 20 meters of the tower, the once proud pinnacle, collapsed. In its place, a domed structure Islamic in style was built. The original statue that crowned Pharos, believed to be Zeus or Poseidon, was gone. Then came the final blows. In 1303 and again in 1323, earthquakes devastated what remained of the lighthouse. Repairs were attempted, but the damage was too great. From a world wonder to a ruin. Eventually abandoned, the lighthouse became a ghost of its former self. Surviving till the 1480s, the Lighthouse of Alexandria was the 3rd longest surviving ancient wonder. Behind the mausoleum at Halicarnassus and the extant Great Pyramid of Giza, in the Middle Ages, a mosque was built atop its remains by Sultan Ahmed ibn Tulun. By 1477, what was left of the tower was reused by the Mamluk Sultan Qutb to build a fortress, and later the Mamluks built the citadel of Qutb, which still stands on the very site. But Pharos was not gone, not entirely. In 1916, French engineer Gaston Jondet made the first detailed description of the sunken ruins of ancient Alexandria's port. And in 1994, underwater archaeologist Geneviève Impayer led a team that rediscovered what time had hidden the remains of the lighthouse, scattered across the seabed. Among the discoveries, blocks weighing up to 60 tons, 30 sphinxes, 5 obelisks, and columns dating back to Ramses II's submerged legacy of ancient Egypt's grandeur. In 2016, Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities announced a plan, an underwater museum to showcase the lost wonders of Pharos, still resting beneath the waves. The Lighthouse of Alexandria was so iconic. Pharos literally became the word for lighthouse in Greek, and still survives in languages like French and Italian today. But it wasn't just a tower, it was an optical masterpiece. Some ancient sources even claim it used a magnifying lens system or burning mirrors. Yes, like laser beams from the sun. Sounds like science fiction, right? Medieval Arab writers took it a step further. They said the Pharos had a mirror so powerful it could burn enemy ships at sea. A story echoing the myth of Archimedes. And get this, the Lighthouse of Alexandria stood between 100 and 140 meters tall. That's 330 to 460 feet, making it the tallest structure in the ancient world. Right after the Great Pyramid of Giza. In the 1990s, archaeologists diving in Alexandria's harbor made an incredible discovery: massive granite blocks, broken statues, even sphinxes and columns. Among them, Gigantic statues believed to depict Ptolemaic kings and queens, likely once part of the lighthouse complex itself. The lighthouse wasn't just a marvel, it was a symbol of Alexandria. It appeared on ancient coins, Roman mosaics, and even in Islamic maps of the medieval world. According to Roman coins, each corner of the lighthouse featured a statue of Triton, the sea god, and at the very top, a statue of Poseidon, or maybe Zeus, watching over the sea. Today, the lighthouse remains a proud civic symbol of Alexandria. You'll find it on the city's flag, its official seal, and even on the seal of Alexandria University. But the Pharos didn't just leave its mark in Egypt. The lighthouse's influence travels not just across continents, but through time. Across the ocean, in Alexandria, Virginia, stands a towering tribute. The George Washington Masonic National Memorial, fashioned after the ancient lighthouse of Alexandria. The Pharos of Alexandria may be gone, but its legacy shines on. In stone, in symbol, and in spirit. If you're enjoying this journey through time, give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more ancient wonders, and drop a comment. Where else have you seen the spirit of the lighthouse live on?